Hello and welcome to Mary's Nutrition Show, coming to you live from Seattle, Washington. Now here's your host, Registered Dietitian Nutritionist, Mary Purdy.
Hi everybody, it's Mary from Mary's Nutrition Show. It's so great to be here once again. Here I am on a Thursday evening drinking a lovely cup of nettle tea, enjoying my afternoon, getting ready for the evening, and thrilled to be joining you for tonight's live stream. How are you doing, Keith? Oh, I should introduce the one and only producer and artistic director and videographer of Mary's Nutrition Show, who just happens to also be my husband, Keith Hitchcock.
Hello, Seattle and the world, and Facebook, and everyone. Good to see you.
Great to have you here, Keith. You help make this all happen. You make it possible. Anyway, today's show is going to be all about brain health, and I will be giving you just a few tips of the many myriads of tips that are out there to help you optimize your brain health. And why is this important? Well, I would say cognitive decline and things like depression are on the rise. In fact, it's estimated that there's about 36 million cases of Alzheimer's disease right now, and that's just growing. And in terms of depression, in the year 2015, approximately almost 7% of adults 18 and over had some kind of depressive episode. So this is a big, big issue. And if you are interested in brain health and how to optimize yours, or you have Alzheimer's in your family or mental health issues in your family, that would be your family, or you just want to be have a stronger sense of memory and the smarts, then this show is for you. Be sure you stick around.
Oh, that's the cue for a little intro. Okay, now we're having fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my husband, expert producer and videographer. He doesn't miss a beat. Incredible.
And sometimes I add a few beats.
Oh, you add a few beats. That's all right. Well, as long as I wasn't sitting around doing something awkward, then we're just fine. But folks, we need to get the buzzkill out of the way, and that is, if you're watching today's show and you're interested in some of the tips, please consult your doctor before you follow any of the advice contained here. And also know that the opinions expressed on the show are exclusively those of Mary Purdy, that would be me, the show's producers and staff, and guests, and do not necessarily represent the policies or views of Arivale, Bastyr, or Dietitians in Integrative and Functional Medicine. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can get started with the show.
Oh, let's talk about chat. If you are watching live, feel free to join in the chat, ask questions, join the conversation, and just know that we may not be able to answer all the questions until the Q&A section, but the Q&A section is coming. Oh, and on that note, questions from last week, Mary.
Yes.
There was a question from Sally in chat. Do you remember what that was?
I do remember.
Yeah.
She had mentioned asked why I had only spoken about orange vegetables. She was curious about the other colors of the rainbow in terms of eating orange fruits and vegetables to help support immune function. Sally, I am so sorry I left out all of those other colors. If I had talked about them all, we would have been there for another 47 hours. But yes, there are other sources of vitamin C and vitamin A that are not orange. For instance, the friendly grapefruit, great source of vitamin C, and also, hello, redness. The pepper, I've eaten part of this already, sorry. I needed to get my vitamin C. But the red pepper is also a wonderful source of vitamin C. So it doesn't always have to be orange. The idea is to get a spectrum of color into your day to ensure that you've managed to get all the different antioxidant families into your body. So thanks for that question. We always welcome your feedback and queries.
Okay, Mary.
Yes.
It may be time for
the show.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Well, as I mentioned before, today's topic is brain health and how you can optimize your brain. I'm going to give you 5 tips, and we'll begin with the first one, which is fats, both increasing those good fats and decreasing the less favorable fats. And when I say good fats, I am talking about those omega-3 rich fatty acids. We find these in things like the friendly walnut, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, and if you're looking for a animal source, then we find them in things like fish, especially those fatty rich fish like anchovies, sardines, and salmon. These are exceptionally helpful for the brain, and I encourage people to get a source of those omega-3s in their diet every single day. Now, one of the other things to mention about fats is that it's also important to reduce the less favorable fats. These include those trans fats, which are in some of those baked goods and fried foods. You find those in a lot of processed foods and fast food joints, but also being sure that you keep your saturated fat at a moderate level. Doesn't mean you have to throw out all saturated fat sources. God forbid someone doesn't get to eat a slice of bacon, or have a little coconut oil in their diet if they want to. But the idea is to keep it at a level that is less than 10% of your calories. So if you have a 2,000 calorie diet, that would be no more than 20 grams of saturated fat. And that is included in things like cheese, animal products, and yes, even coconut oil can add up. Doesn't mean you can never eat those things. It just means you have to include them in that 20 grams. And remember, 1 ounce of cheese is about 7 or 6 or 5, depending on the cheese, grams of saturated fat. And a tablespoon of coconut oil, voila, is about 12 grams of saturated fat. Coconut oil is delicious and can help make certain vegetables taste absolutely fantastic, but just be mindful about how much you're getting in. So keep that saturated fat and trans fat at a moderate level on the saturated front, and basically avoid the trans. Keep them out. You don't need those.
Go ahead.
Go ahead?
Yeah.
You have no questions on the fats?
Well,
You want us to move on. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a shout out to you, though, because Keith, I just know, happens to love these guys right here.
Oh, I love avocados.
Yeah, I know you do. And
Can I
yes?
just say how much I love avocados?
How much time do you feel like you need?
Well, I like to have huevos rancheros with eggs and avocados, and it's just so good.
It is. I know.
So good.
It's okay. It's a staple in this household. I don't think either one of us goes a day without an avocado. It's hard. It's hard to not have one of these be involved in my life every single day. And what's good for the heart, which are these monounsaturated fats in these avocados, is also good for the brain. So get an avocado in there when you can. I know they're kind of expensive sometimes, but a little bit can sometimes go a long way. All right, so that was the fat category. Let's talk about the next category, which is the leafy green, dark leafy greens in particular. You might be familiar with things that look a little bit like this. Hello, this is a collard green. Why? Why is this so important? Because this is a rich source of something called folate. Folate as in foliage, yes? And folate is important for your brain because it is a key vitamin that helps to break down something called homocysteine. You don't have to memorize that. Just know that folate helps to break down or metabolize homocysteine, which, when elevated, the homocysteine that is, can actually be a risk factor for cognitive decline and is associated with higher levels of depression. So get your folate-rich food sources in there. The darker leafy greens, the better. More folate means healthier brain. So keep those in the diet whenever you can. Any questions, Keith?
What is folate?
Folate is a B vitamin. Thank you. Next question.
Where do I get them?
You get them from, hold on, repeat, woohoo, dark leafy greens. But I'm glad you asked, because it's not only about the dark leafy green, they are also in beans. Chickpeas, black beans, lentils, great sources of folate. But don't forget about the leafy greens.
Did you say beans?
I did say beans.
Can I just tell you about those huevos rancheros?
Yeah, do you want me to bring back the avocado?
Beans. do the beans and the avocados and maybe some greens as well. And it's just...
I've seen greens in that dish that you make.
Yeah, I've put greens in that.
Yeah, good job.
It's just so good.
It's so good. I know.
Good.
It really helps. And you're getting a nice, rich source of folate right in there with
Thank
your
you
beans
for
and
listening.
your dark leafy greens. Do I need to
Thank
bring
you.
this back, or is it clear? Because you could also make a wrap. You could wrap some stuff in here and just... And it's just, I wouldn't suggest eating leafy greens just by themselves, because then you might be angry with me and ask me why I'm forcing you to eat leaves. But if you, kick it up a little bit with some avocado, hey, or some, bean dip in there, it's really a lovely, lovely little dish. Or, of course, sauteing them in a touch of coconut oil. Okay, off the leafy greens, and let's move on to the next thing, which is number 3, anti-inflammatory foods, and I'm going to specifically highlight herbs and spices. Inflammation is one of the key triggers for cognitive decline and has been associated with depression as well. So we want to do everything we can to bring those inflammatory markers down. And herbs and spices have been shown to help with that. One in particular that I want to highlight is turmeric. I don't know if you can see it through this, but it's this bright orange, gorgeous herb, or rather spice. Some great research to show that turmeric actually helps to fight free radicals and neutralize them to help improve brain function and reduce inflammation. So turmeric is a great thing to get into soups and marinades, and you can put it into a dressing. Great thing. And the other thing that I want to mention, another favorite herb of mine, rosemary, not just because it has part of my name in it, but just because it smells so darn good and it's so incredibly good for you, anti-inflammatory. So get more herbs and spices into your diet to help provide a less inflammatory environment for your brain and your body in general. Inflammation. Done. Question?
Yeah, I noticed that you say marinade. Are you French?
Does that make me sound pretentious? I didn't mean for that to come across that way.
It makes you sound French.
Marinade?
Which is pretentious.
It just sounds like it's lemonade, I feel like that doesn't
But
sound...
then wouldn't you say lemonade?
Maybe I should start saying that.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Lemonade? Does that sound okay? Or does that sound pretentious?
I think it's worth a try. You just start doing it.
Lemonade?
Lemonade.
Okay. I'm going to work on that. I'll see how it goes.
Lemonade.
I can shift to the marinade, though. It just, for some reason, it doesn't feel as natural. I think I've always said marinade.
I say trust your gut.
Okay, I'm going to go with marinade. Marinade. Okay. All right, but I'm going to move on to the next piece. So while I mentioned eating lots of wonderful foods like healthy fats and herbs and spices and leafy greens, one thing that has been shown in the research to actually be effective for reduction of cognitive decline, and some of this is just preliminary research, is something called intermittent fasting or restricting calories. This does not mean a severe or extreme restriction of calories. It just means eating fewer calories or having long fasting periods of time, specifically between your last meal of the day and your first meal of the day. So that time between the hours of the evening and the middle of the night, it's really, really helpful for your body to not be working on digesting. So making sure that you're not overeating and causing more what is known to be oxidative stress, or giving your body more work to do to contend with free radicals that are produced by just living and digesting and metabolizing. The less frequently we have to do that, the better. So there's a wonderful study that's going on at Duke University called the Calorie Trial right now that has some great research around the benefits of lower calorie diets, just helping with both reducing cognitive decline but also helping with cardiovascular health. So call back to a couple weeks back when we had this show about heart health. So that can be something, and again, it's great to work with a dietitian specifically on how that might look. Questions?
It's all crystal clear for now. I might have some later, Mary.
Okay, good. Maybe even after the show, we'll be here together, so we can have a conversation. And lastly, the last piece is more of a lifestyle, because I've been talking a bit about diet, and this is about stress and sleep. it's important, it's essential that your body gets a full night's sleep. As I mentioned, fasting overnight is really important for your body, but your brain actually has something called the glymphatic system. Let me repeat that, the glymphatic system. Read my lips, glymphatic. And this is your brain's clearing system. This is actually a series of tunnels in your brain that the body has in order to get rid of the proteins and toxins that accumulate throughout the day. So it's absolutely essential that you get a good night's sleep in order for that glymphatic system to work properly. I also include stress in that because stress can have an impact on our sleep. So it's absolutely essential to reduce your stress. Whatever stress management techniques you have, whether that's meditation, reflection, contemplation, prayer, hanging out in nature, listening to music, doing something fun, watching a fun show about nutrition, whatever works for you is absolutely a critical piece of brain health. And that is because cortisol, which is a stress hormone that rises in the body when you are stressed out, actually dampens and, what's the word? Not dampens, I think it would rather be it destroys. What's the dampening? Why am I dampening things? That's so innocuous.
Destroy.
Destroy. Cortisol actually destroys neurons, specifically in an area of the brain called the hippocampus. That is the hippocampus, and that is where the structure in your brain that's responsible for memories. So stress can have a big impact on memory function, and we also know that when you're stressed, you are less able to keep an emotional balance. So these are two areas that are lifestyle factor related, but couldn't be more important than diet with helping keeping your brain nice and healthy. All right, done. Brain problems solved.
Mary?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
The question is, if I were confused about any of this...
Turmeric. I would take turmeric. Just start taking turmeric and the confusion will go away.
Really?
All right, no.
Oh, because it would optimize my brain.
It would optimize your brain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now,
what's your question, though, really?
It's hypothetically, if I were to have some turmeric, this is actually the cue
for questions.
For questions, yeah. If there's anyone in watching out there and you have a question, go ahead and post it right now, and we will answer it on air, like right now, like everything that you wondered about brain health. Give me some turmeric.
Right, get some turmeric.
You could find out from Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Mary Purdy. So my question is, if I was confused, what would I be confused about?
What do you mean? You're confusing. Now I'm confused.
Well, it's a conceptual question.
Okay.
What do people get most confused about with this stuff?
I think the confusion is how much of these things do they actually need? And that is going to be dictated by having a specific counseling session with your health practitioner so that you can understand what that even looks like, what 20 grams of fat even looks like, because that would get super boring if I just spelled that out. We might all...
Mary.
I was working on my lymphatic system, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it's about how much. How many leafy greens do I need? How much turmeric do I need? How many darn walnuts do I have to eat to get my omega-3s? So it's great to work with somebody specifically on those to make sure that you're getting what's right for you, because everyone's so individual. So what might be right for you might not be right for somebody else. But chances are, knowing the American diet, the standard American diet, aka the SAD diet, of most people in America, the chances are you probably just need more than you're having now. So just kick it up, maybe one by one serving, and you're probably at least in a better place than you were.
I have a question that you brought up. Like, if I'm not married to a nutritionist, which I am, how do I find a good nutritionist?
I think that's a good question. I mean, every city is going to be different, but I think looking on Yelp or looking, I don't know.
I mean, like, you're a nutritionist. Like, how would you find a good nutritionist?
I would probably just ask around.
Yeah.
I mean, I also know like 30,000 nutritionists, so I'd probably just take my pick of the person that I most agreed with and have them give me some advice.
Yeah.
About how many leafy greens I need in order to survive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, if you're watching this after the live event, which happened on Thursday evening, the 27th of April,
That is right.
2017, feel free to drop a question in the chat for us to answer next week. And speaking of next week,
yes.
we'll be having, we're launching this show officially next Tuesday, and we'll be streaming every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
So yeah, so there's going to be some continuity and a different topic every week. And what are just a few of the things that you think we might be covering over the next?
Well, it's kind of exciting because I would like to put it out there that the topics might be dictated by none other than you. You might actually be giving us ideas about things that you want to know about, because the last thing I want to do is work on a topic that nobody cares about. So next week's topic is going to be about skin health. And I want to emphasize, your skin is the biggest organ in your entire body. Some people might argue with that, but I assure you it is. And this isn't just about wrinkles, although it can be. This isn't just about women wanting to have clearer skin, although it can be. This is about the health of your skin, which is ultimately reflecting the health of your internal body. This could be about acne, eczema, psoriasis, aging, wrinkles, whatever interests you about skin health. We'll be talking about some tips to make sure that your skin stays at its best.
Awesome. Mary, thank you so much for your intelligence and your wisdom, your sense of humor, and everything that you bring to us on a weekly basis.
Oh, that's so nice of you. I really, really, hello. Appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us out in Facebook land or YouTube land, wherever you might be watching this. Thanks for tuning in. Again, you have the chance to have your nutrition questions answered, so drop them in a comment or a post, wherever. And you could really help us out by subscribing to the YouTube channel or to this Facebook page. And
that's a wrap.
That is a wrap.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Mary's Nutrition Show. We'll see you next week, I hope. Bye.
Bye-bye.